and welcome to the Cult Cinema Circle podcast. My name is Jesse, and I'll be your host. So on today's episode, we're going to head over to a party over at Theta Pi. We're going to go, drop our sorority sister in a, hole after accidentally killing her. But also, we're going to, try and figure out who this tire iron killer is. But you know what? Today, we are going to be covering a little movie from 2009 called Sorority Row. And to be honest, I could not do this on my own. We're in the wonderful month of September. It is not only my sister's birthday month, which is great, but also it is pretty much October Eve at this point. No shade to Virgos out there or whatever, but you know what it is. But anyway, but I could not do this alone, though, because I needed somebody who was just as knowledgeable about, horror movies as I am, probably even a little bit more so. But I also needed somebody, because this is a remake of an 80s classic, I needed somebody who loves 80s horror, probably even more than I do, and specifically cheesy horror, but whatever. So we want to welcome back to the show. He was on our episode for Slumber Party Massacre back in the back, and then also for Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-rama, where we bitched about the movie for an hour and a half. It's fine. But please welcome back to the show, my girl, my friend, Pickens Barringer. Pickens, how are you?
Cheers, slut. I'm
great. Yes. Oh my God. So we were just talking about it off mic, but hey, congratulations on beating cancer. That's so awesome for you. That was literally so crazy. After we recorded Sorority Babes, not too long after that, I saw you post on your social about you getting that diagnosis. I was just like, holy shit, this friend of mine who I just made and it's so cool, is literally going through a horrible diagnosis for most people. And I will say a lot of the time where I was checking on your socials and anybody, again, obviously you can talk about however you want to, but anytime I saw you on socials, I was just like, oh, you know what? He's making it through. And I'm so happy for that. And I feel like the attitude you have to have in that situation. Otherwise, you'll just want to literally die. So, I mean, yeah, but no, you don't have to go super deep into that. But yeah, congrats, boo. I appreciate that for you.
Thank you. Yeah,
someone's looking out for you, right?
Indeed. Someone has. Yeah, they're keeping me alive because I still haven't talked about every horror movie. My life's work isn't over.
Your life's work isn't over, and also you can't go yet. You have a little bit too much time to go. I also would like to say too, have you gone to that? So Pickens let me know, because we do talk on Instagram here and there, and you literally gave me the link to an event that's in PA. Has that happened yet? Or did you already go to that or no?
It happened, and I was not able to go. My schedule just got super intense.
Yeah.
And so,
lots of things going on.
But I have seen Sleepaway Camp in a theater. I have met Felissa Rose.
That's
so
fine, yeah.
It has been, I feel okay about it.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I was just because you were would you go to this with me? And I was like, maybe. But I was also perturbed at the fact we had to sleep in a tent or something.
Yeah, you have to legit camp. The closest town is 15 minutes away. And it's just
right.
It's a town you don't want to stay in.
Well, yeah. Is that because they're homophobic or no?
I don't not necessarily know.
Not.
I don't know. It was that small town Twilight Zone-y vibe.
Okay. I got you. No, I understand. Yeah. Well, I'm also from I'm from Maryland, so you're from North Carolina, but but I get it with PA. It is kind of weird. It's not weird up there. Love you, PA, but it's a little I love Lancaster though, bitch. I love.
We stopped at a thrift store on our way back down to North Carolina the last time I went there. And in Pennsylvania, there is Confederate flag
completely. There's stuff here too. Yes,
y'all were that's the wrong side.
I know, it is so weird. I mean, at least we have there's no excuse for Confederacy, everybody. Okay,
God, no.
but I mean, Maryland is technically in the South, and so yes, it is very weird where you have people who are just for the Confederacy or it's weird. I don't know, man. But this is not a Confederacy podcast, nor is it a whatever the hell that is. Anyway, we are not here for any white power whatsoever because white people suck, dude. But anyway,
especially in this movie,
for sure. But anyway, back to Slumber Summer Party Massacre. Wow. Sorority Row, though. Okay, so let me tell. Okay, so my history with this movie is I had not seen it until like last year, bitch. Or even like earlier this year. I had not seen it. Like I literally never saw it. I know you think I am a huge Mo, right? But like I have not seen some of the Mo things. Like I just
Oh my
haven't done it. I know, right?
gosh. Hmm.
I know. And plus also you and me are like almost pretty much the same age. So like it was primed for us to see this. We could have seen it.
Oh,
Um
absolutely.
yeah, like I would have been like what 17 or something when it came out, or like 17, 16. So like you
That
definitely
sounds
could have
right. Yeah.
probably seen it. And so, but I had not seen it until last year, actually, because of Black Xmas as well, because I watched that as well for the first time.
Oh, is that the shot? Wait, the Black Extra. Oh, wait, no. I'm thinking of Black Devil Doll from Hell. Never mind. Never mind.
No. The Black Xmas remake 2006. I also watched that along with this because
Hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, like these make sense, and they were streaming somewhere. So I was like, okay, perfect, great. So like I watched those, and I was like, that's when I definitely knew I had to talk to you about it. I was like, Pickens, walk me through this Black Christmas remake, and also walk me through this Sorority Row remake, or whatever this
Oh,
is, because
oh,
it
I thought you
is.
said Black Exorcist. You said Black Christmas. Okay,
Yes, Black
sorry. We're
Christmas.
yes. That
It's
was
fine.
technology.
Although
There's a
Black
glitch.
Exorcist sounds kind of great though,
It
honestly.
does,
Like,
and I'm
and it's
sure
also called Abby from
there
the
had.
70s.
I also feel like there has to be a movie called Black Exorcist, but who knows? The
Oh hell
70s.
yes.
Yeah, I feel like
I
there
love
has to be. I
I
have
love
not
that.
seen Abby. There's one. I have not seen Abby.
I haven't seen Abby either, but it does seem like it's that girl. I'd be kind of into that. Like that'd be kind of
Abby
cool.
is that girl.
Also, yes, like this is not just to get on a soapbox about Abby. Abby is a completely separate movie from The Exorcist and was not trying to like ride in the coattails, I don't think. And that is just trying to silence people of color and their media. And that's really horrible behavior. So please don't do that.
Indeed.
Anyway, yeah, Abby seems like it's great. It's great. Anyway, but yeah, I'd never really seen it. So I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, what the hell did I watch? Like, what is this
Oh.
movie? So I would like to know, Pickens, for you, what was your history with this movie? When did you see it? And what is it about this movie that made you want to be like, hey, I'll come on a podcast to talk about it. Why not? You know, because I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah. So I saw the movie that it's based on, House on Sorority Row, and I remember like when the remake was announced or whatever when it was coming out, I was like, ugh, another remake. And then I didn't see it in theaters though, and I think it's because I might have been 16, so I wasn't able. It was R. I didn't know like someone old enough to get me a ticket, and my parents wouldn't take me, so I was like. So I, and then I think the first time I watched it, if I'm remembering correctly, I saw it at my grandmother's house. It came on like HBO or something, and I watched it there, and I was like, oh, okay, this isn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because when I was a teenager, I was very angsty for remakes. I remember when I saw The Last House on the Left remake, I was like, it wasn't disturbing and raw like the original. And now I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? That movie is incredible. So I watched it, wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And the early to mid 2000s movies are starting to grow on me a little bit. I'm starting to get the nostalgia feeling for it. So yeah. So when you were saying like, I want to do like, you sent me that list of movies. And I was like, sorority row would be really fun. So yeah, that's my thing.
Yes, I love that for you, and thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing your stories with me. But yeah, no, like I kind of get that, yeah, and I think that this movie it is a fascinating watch. It's both a remake of a movie that is really a cult film, I feel like, and we'll probably have maybe a separate episode on that, where we can talk about it. But like, we will obviously touch on it today because we have to. But yeah, this movie in particular, I mean, it is just a part of that kind of weird time in the 2000s where they just think, yeah, like remake it and we'll make it, we'll make money from it. Great. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit about all that. But so that's our histories on this. So as we normally do on the show, we'll go over some of the figures of this movie. We'll dive into some of like the background of it, and we'll talk a little bit about like the plot and also some of the characters and just fun discussion about this movie in general because, oh boy.
Chugs.
Yes. Oh, we'll get into her too because we'll get into it. Anyway, but Sorority Row was released September 11th of 2009. So I was in fact 17. So I technically could have seen this movie. And I would have taken you, Pickens, if we were friends. I would have been like, let's go.
Thank you.
I would have been your guardian, I guess, even though that would have been weird, but it's fine. Anyway, so looking at about 101 minutes a runtime, so a little like hour 40, I guess.
A little long.
It could have been cut down like by 10 minutes. I'm just saying. Yeah, I agree. Summit Entertainment is the one who released this, and then we're looking at a budget of about $12.5 million, which is like sizable-ish enough. For opening weekend ranking gross, we're looking at it's at number 6 with $5,059,802 pretty much, and we're looking at a domestic gross of about $11,965,282. We then have about an international gross of about $15 million to $15,240,838, with a worldwide gross of $27,206,120. So, for all intents and purposes, I guess this movie did at least make its money back, and it did fine, I guess, in terms of just like money, I guess. Critical response is a little different. We have out of 81 reviews, about 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then a 33% audience score, with about almost 250,000 like reviews from people who watched it and who are aware of it, and then 2.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So yeah, I mean that's what we're looking at in terms of figures. When we talk about the director of this film, we're looking at Stewart Hendler, who I recently found out is a homosexual, and
it now makes the movie make a whole lot
I was just saying
sense.
I was just saying that before we recorded. I was like, this makes way more sense if he is a complete mo, because like, yep. I totally get it. Other things he done, he did a movie called Whisper about 2 years before this, and then he ended up doing a movie called Max Steel, but he hasn't had much of a directing career at that much, really. We then have the writers, so we have 2 writers on this, I believe. Josh Stolberg was one of them, and then the other guy who I think is his partner, Pete Goldfinger. So they wrote it together. Now, Josh Stolberg made a name for himself because he actually went on probably the year that this was released. He was probably writing and being a part of a little movie called Piranha 3D from 2010,
which is so iconic.
Which is a very actually good movie.
That's one.
That actually is a very good movie, directed by Alexander Aja, who we'll also talk about a little bit too, because he was a part of this horror remake stuff. Yeah, whole thing. But yeah, Piranha 3D is great. Elizabeth Shue is a cop in it. Ving Rhames is her partner as a cop, and then her kids
Lloyd is a mad scientist.
He is. Richard Dreyfuss is in the first scene only, and then her kids are like annoying as shit, and yeah, you just kind of want the piranhas to kill them, but whatever. Oh, also Eli Roth dies in the movie, and then also Jeremy O'Connell gets his penis ripped off.
Oh yes. Oh, and it flies right in front of your face.
It does fly right in front of your face, and Adam Scott's there. That's fun. And then also there's a weird lesbian, like male gazy, like underwater ballet.
Oh my god! Oh yes, the Girls Gone Wild video. Oh my gosh!
Oh my god, we're gonna cover it at some point.
We are covering Piranha 3D. Oh my gosh!
Oh, we already made. Oh yeah, no. Just from this conversation right now, I'm probably putting it on the list because that movie is actually fairly decent, but goddamn, is it weird. Anyway, so that's what we're working.
We're not doing Piranha 3D yet.
We're not doing it yet, but like we're it's gonna happen at some point. But like yes, because that movie is ridiculous.
So ridiculous. Just so like this movie.
That's the caliber of who we're talking about. Who wrote this? But also he did Jigsaw and Spiral from the Brook of Saw. So we're looking at that too. I'm not a Saw person, so I don't care.
I'm neither, so I'm with you.
I don't care. Like, I don't know. Whatever. Good for them making money, I guess. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Composer of this movie is Lucian Piani. We're not going to talk about it. He made music for RuPaul and then went on a weird racist Twitter rant.
And we do not condone. No.
I don't condone. No.
The soundtrack, the music was shit anyway.
It was kind of shit. I mean, there's a few things that, like, there might be a song here or there that might slap, but, like, not by much. No. Sorry. And then Cinematographer Kem Sang, who actually did, what did he do? He did Deadpool. He also did Quarantine, the remake of Rec. I have not seen it. Rec is great. I
Oh,
assume that
incredible.
Quarantine is probably not. But Jennifer Carpenter's there, so that's nice.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, and this also makes sense because I mean the cinematography was really good.
I will say that, yes, it was. And Project X was another one he did.
Oh
The party
yeah,
movie. Yeah.
and yeah, the cinematography was really good, but the lighting was really bad because
Mhm.
it is very hard to see a lot of stuff in this movie.
It is. It's very
Dark.
weirdly lit. Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't know who the lighting was, but yeah. We're we're pointing you out, lighting designer, whatever. And then Elliot Greenberg is our editor. So he is actually responsible for editing Smile, the movie with Kevin Bacon's daughter in it, and Kyle Gallner.
Uh-huh.
I have seen it. It's fine. It's okay. It was on Paramount Plus, so you could probably watch it if you have that, which apparently is also turning into Showtime at some point. Weird.
I got the Showtime package because Yellow Jackets.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah,
watched the last episode yet. I know. I'm
I
going
will
to
keep my mouth
though.
shut.
Yeah, just please do. As Above, So Below, he also edited as well. Decent movie, fine. And then also a little movie called The Poughkeepsie Tapes. He also edited. And that
Oh.
movie is a ride too. Like that is
Mm.
just ridiculous. Anyway, oh god, I watched that as part of last year was the watch along like in October, and it was like one of my picks that I did. It was one of the things I did with horror queers. I followed what they were doing, and I was like, it was one of the last movies I watched in the month. I was like, this movie's fucked. Anyway, but yeah, looking forward to doing it this year, y'all. It's gonna be great.
Woo woo.
I know it's listen, horror movie every day in October. It's great. And then we have our actors and actresses in this movie. So we have Briana Evigan, who is our really just a final girl, although we do have multiple final girls in this movie. Technically. She is somebody who is in Step Up. Did you ever watch that movie or the series of movies for
I've
that?
definitely seen the first one. I actually have a friend who's weirdly like obsessed with them, not because they're like he likes them or anything. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that it had so many sequels.
It did have quite a few
Yeah,
sequels. You're
it was like
correct.
the Bring It On of its time. But yeah, no, I have
Mm-hmm.
only seen the first one.
Yeah, so she comes from a family of actors. I think her dad was an actor, but not like in a nepo baby kind of way. I think he was not like he's like a working actor, probably some guy. She was also in the music video for the Linkin Park song "Numb," which is cool. It's a good little song. And she was also in like S Darko, which is the weird Donnie Darko sequel that I haven't seen. But apparently she's there. Mother's Day, which they made a remake of, which I have not seen. I've only
It's
seen the
awful.
original. Oh, I bet. And then yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Who is her dad? Yeah, her dad wasn't really doing. He did like Broadway stuff. But he wouldn't have been somebody who people would have like super known or anything. And he had also other kids who did go on to do this as well, which is kind of nice. But anyway, so that's our final girl. We're gonna talk about her in a little bit. Leah Pipes plays Jessica, who is
Yes.
iconic. Leah Pipes again is somebody who, she didn't exactly she was really in like this movie. Before that, she wasn't in a ton. She was in a little movie called Odd Girl Out, which funny enough, I was just surfing on YouTube and I was watching like people talking about weird Lifetime movies and like all that kind of shit. And Odd Girl Out is one of those. It's the one where I think Alexa Vega is in it. And it's about her getting bullied and stuff. So she's in that movie. Fun.
Ooh, I have not seen
She
that one.
yeah, no, she it's a weird 2006 one. You're probably fine. So yeah, Sorority Row is probably one of her big things she did. Yeah, I think that's pretty much that. And then she did a lot of TV though. She did do quite a few of that. She was on Life is Wild, which is a TV show from the late 2000s. But she was also in a movie. I don't know if you ever saw a DCOM called Pixel Perfect. Do you happen to remember that?
Oh, I loved Pixel Perfect.
Well,
I
she's in
had
that.
the biggest crush on Ricky Ullman.
Oh, me
And
too.
yeah,
And
and the
yes.
nothing's wrong with me. Oh my
Well,
God.
Well, she's literally like the lead in that movie against him. So that is Leah Pipes for you. Love that for her. Raviv Ullman. Am I going to run down this thing? Okay, so he's married to a woman, but you know what? He might be a little queer. Who knows? Ricky Ullman, call me. Oh, I love him.
Oh yeah, I think I think he's done the very standard like I don't disclose my sexuality, but I'm married to a woman, but I did like a photo shoot in a gown.
Sure, very Harry Styles of him. Okay, whatever. Rumer Willis is in this movie. And you know,
Speaking of
listen,
famous dads.
famous families. Oh God, she's actually not horrible in this movie, I guess. What do you think of Rumer Willis? Do you have thoughts?
I I feel like I've seen her in like I mean obviously this one and I feel like I've seen her in something else and I don't think she's awful. But to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
actually no, I'm not going to say anything ill about Bruce Willis because
No, he's yeah,
yeah,
I
I
get it.
just that news just came out. I think she's fine. I like her.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah. Eh. Whether or not Bruce Willis is a good actor or not, I'm not sure, really. He's fine. He was good in he was good in The Fifth Element, I guess, but I'm not much of a I feel bad that he's sick and that really sucks, but you know, I don't know. Of course, the thing that she did before this, right before this, was a little movie called The House Bunny with Anna Faris, where she was in a like literal brace.
Which is so good. Lindsay. Oh my gosh.
Harmony. Yeah, I love it.
I
Yeah.
love Anna Faris
Same.
so much.
Oh my god, same. Have you seen Smiley Face from Gregor Rocky?
I have one time and
It's
I
fucked.
was not ready to see it and it just but I want to rewatch that now that I love Gregor Arky now, but like
I do too. Yeah.
I was not ready to see it when I saw it, and just
It's weird because Danny Masterson's there a little bit. But you know, I don't know. It's weird, but it's fine. I'm glad for him because he made that movie after he did Mysterious Skin, and it was a welcome change. God, that movie's so goddamn good. But anyway, sorry. She also won Dancing with the Stars, by the way. That's fun. So yeah, good for her. Oh, and she was also she started her career being in Now and Then, where she was Gabby Hoffman's little sister. That was nice and fun. I know, right? Covered it on the show early. So yes, we're probably gonna revisit it at some point with my sister. You know, so there you go. That's probably what I'm gonna be doing in the next few months. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. JD Chung plays Claire. See, I remembered her name. And she is from Real World. That's literally how she was found. But she made herself a little acting career, and that's nice. She's also like the one person of color in this movie. So
and
the
and
one.
of course, they still made a racist joke. Even
Yeah. God. Anyway, Audrina Patridge plays Megan, who is a big part of this.
Yes. And
not really. She's the catalyst for what happens.
I'm sorry, Jesse. Okay. I'm stealing this one from you. You will know Audrina Patridge from the legend, the moment, the icon, just the absolute cinematic masterpiece of a reality television show that we would like to call MTV's The Hills, starring Lauren Conrad.
Yes, that is correct. That is what she was known for. Listen, I wasn't much for The Hills as a kid. As a person, I just wasn't doing it. Although
you missed out, you missed out.
Although Pretty Wild though on E. Let me tell you something. Because I didn't watch that either.
This is Alexis Nyers calling. I watched it it was briefly on Netflix for a short while.
That's God's
I watched it, and it is that is actually the Nancy Joe thing is actually one of the lesser unhinged moments on that
completely
show.
I would assume so. Yes. So resident homosexual Pickens here, but also resident homosexual Donovan on other shows that I've been on. Also I just shared that with him as well, and he also gets a kick out of it because yes, okay, so for those who don't know, Pretty Wild was on the E channel, okay, and it was a reality show. Yes. And so, well, because what had happened was Alexis Nyers, who they also did a profile on Vice at some point,
Yep, and I
where
watched it, baby.
oh yeah, and it was interesting because she was definitely addicted to drugs at one point, and she has
During
since
the filming of the show.
oh completely, and was and has since been sober now, and it was actually helping a ex-boyfriend of hers out who was dealing with addiction. And I think from what I saw that thing like a year and so ago or more, she matured into a mostly sensible young lady, I guess. Is what it seems like.
Yeah, she had a podcast. I don't know if she still does it, but
right.
I watched.
She also had a child, literally, I think.
Right. Yes. And she does a whole episode dedicated to the Nancy Joe.
Oh yeah.
Debacle and everything. I think. Don't quote me on this, but I think she actually interviews Nancy Joe.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, so but we'll get back to Sorority Row in a minute. But but yeah, no, so Pretty Wild was this show on E, and I don't know what the actual premise of it was.
It was going to be they were trying to make the next Kardashians happen.
Oh yes. Well, this is pre-Kardashians. This is pre-Kardashians. I'm pretty sure it was.
Because then maybe she's lying then, because on her podcast, the show is going to be advertised as like the hippie alternative to the Kardashians, or maybe I think, but I don't know. I just remember she said that at one point, but
yeah, I don't know about that, because Pretty Wild was in 2010, and I'm pretty sure. Let me see when the Kardashians came out. When did those?
I think the Kardashians came out like a little earlier.
It might have. Wait a minute. We're doing the research and development. It's where this is important. Let me see real quick. When the fuck did that show come out? I don't know anything about these people like at all. So hold on. Oh, 2007. So okay, yeah. Yes, you're right. So yes, I guess this was like during that time. Anyway, we're gonna get back to Pretty Wild for just a minute. Anyway, so this show chronicled the life of Alexis Nyers and Gabby Nyers, and they were like making their way through a Hollywood social scene. I don't know who these people are or why the hell they were any sort of famous. Apparently their mom was a Playboy model at some point.
And is now homeschooling them with
oh yes, that's correct.
And they were going to make mood boards.
This is very important to know about all of this. I swear to God, because literally, but this is what it. Okay, so but anyway, so Pickens said the bling ring. So the bling ring was these people that Alexis Nyers was a part of, who would go to young celebrities' houses in Hollywood and rob them. And there was a movie that was made by Sofia Coppola with Emma Watson in it,
with a terrible English, with a terrible American accent.
She can't do an American accent, okay, but it's okay. She's Emma Watson.
Leslie Mann plays the mom, and she is so accurate.
Oh, she's so great. She's the one from George of the Jungle, right?
Maybe she's married to Judd Apatow.
Yeah, I think that's her.
Yeah,
I love her. She's Ursula. Yes, yes, love that. Anyway, but yes, so that's what we're talking about in terms of Audrina Patridge. Oh yes, The Hills was ridiculous. The Hills was crazy. Yes. I mean, yeah, it's like pretty much just the MTV's version of the Kardashians, but like I don't know what Lauren Conrad was famous for.
Lauren Conrad was famous for Laguna Beach, the real Orange County, which does predate the Kardashians.
Oh, that's correct. You're right.
And it was absolutely iconic. It still holds up. And then she, after 2 seasons of Laguna Beach, the real Orange County, she moves to California and moves to LA to get her start in the fashion industry, going to FITM. And she got a spinoff, baby. And it was the cultural juggernaut that will always remain The Hills.
That's correct. I also like how you have to say Laguna Beach, the real Orange County.
That was the title of the show, baby.
That was the title of the show, goddammit. Anyway, but yeah, so that's what we're talking in terms of so needless to say, I don't think she was a great actress, but it's fine. Also, we have Carrie Fisher as Mrs. Crenshaw, who is the house mother. She's Carrie fucking Fisher. I don't need to go into much more detail about that.
She is Carrie. She's Carrie fucking Fisher.
She's Carrie Fisher. Like, that's it. And it's interesting how they changed the story for this. And then we also have Margo Harshman, as Pickens stated, is Chugs, who is
Chugs.
the latent alcoholic of the group.
Finally, a character I can relate to.
That's true. That's true. And she's played by Margo Harshman. The thing I love about Sorority Row is the Even Stevens connection, because Margo Harshman played Tawny on Even Stevens, which was one of Shia LaBeouf's friends, and Shia LaBeouf's best friend in the show, God, what's his name? Steven, right? Or whatever his name was.
Wait. Beans?
No, not Steven. Oh, no. Lewis. Lewis. That's his fucking name.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf's character. Yes.
I was like, what the fuck is his name? Steven? Like, because even
their
Stevens,
last name is Steven.
You're right. Oh, God. Anyway, the mom is also in Saturday Night Fever, which I really appreciate and love.
And the Disney Channel original movie, Even Stevens movie, is actually really good.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it in a minute, but okay. Yeah.
I watched it recently and it holds up.
I love that. Good for them. But anyway, but Margo Harshman played Tawny. And so Lewis's other friend, Twitty, is played by AJ Troff, who that was just like one thing. That in the movie You Wish with Spencer Breslin and Lelaine in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Reed from Sister, which is great too. But anyway, that movie, can I tell you something about that movie? I watched that movie when it came out because I was of the age. And then also, did you know that they literally went to like New Zealand to make that movie? Why?
It doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me at all.
But anyway, because most of it was in Toronto, most of it's in Canada, mostly when they shoot. So why do you go all the way there? But okay, which is I think part of why Lelaine wasn't in that
billboards
movie.
Outside of with Missouri or whatever
Ebbing,
the title.
Missouri,
Yes, it was filmed actually in my state of North Carolina, because I think it was Sylva, North Carolina is where it was filmed. But they said that Sylva, North Carolina looks more like Minnesota than Minnesota.
Huh, that's
logic.
Weird. We'll always have she's had a big ass then, she's got a big ass now. That's the best that's the best Minnesota representation in my book. Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, back to Even Stevens. So Margo Harshman was in that show, and then AJ Troff was like the other person in that show, and he was married to one Leah Pipes, and they divorced. So
it is all a circle.
It's all a circle. It's all circles. So they probably weren't together. Yeah, no, I think they got married in 2014 and then separated in 2019. So they would have not known each other like that. Probably just ends up that's happened. But okay. But that's that. Yeah, I mean, like, who the hell's Julian Morrison? He's he's the boyfriend. He's Greg or one of them.
Oh, no, Andy. Andy's the boyfriend. One. Okay, Andy. Was he on Pretty Little Liars?
I think he was actually. He was in Cry Wolf. _Wolf. Don't forget about that.
Oh, the private school movie.
Yeah. He was in that with Bon Jovi. Hell yeah,
movie. That movie. Oh my god. Oh, and the twist. Oh.
Lindy Booth is in it. Oh yeah, I know. That movie is ridiculous and horrible, but okay. But he was in Pretty Little Liars. You're correct. Anyway,
Ren, the evil British doctor.
I love that for him. Anyway, but yeah, so that's our cast that we have. We also definitely took edibles before this, so this is gonna be a fun podcast, y'all. This is what we're gonna do. It's legal in my state, so hell, why not? Whatevs. Anyway, but so yeah, that's our cast and all that kind of stuff. But so we got to talk a little bit about like, how did this movie exactly come to be? Now, we'll talk a little bit about just like, okay, here's what happened, y'all. So in the 90s, like near the end of the 90s in horror films, we had this onslaught of things trying to recreate Scream. Okay, we all know this. Oh, by the way, this is so cunt for Criterion Collection or the channel. High School Horror.
High School Horror, yeah.
Yes, as we're recording right now, and you'll be hearing this the same month we're recording. It's High School Horror. Bitch, they have The Craft, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Donnie Darko, Massacre at Central High, which when we get off of this call, I'm probably going to turn on because I need something to finish out my long weekend, or well, actually my night, I guess, because I'll get to watch stuff tomorrow. But anyway, High School Horror, it's so good. I wish they got a few more. I wish they got different titles though, but it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, like they do have Slumber Party Massacre on there too.
They do.
as much as I love Summer Party Massacre, I wouldn't call that like a high school horror. Like I know it's about high
No,
school
yeah.
students, but like I don't know, for some reason they didn't. I'm actually kind of shocked they didn't put Carrie on the list.
I know, but they
Maybe
did
they
put that
couldn't
on
get the rights.
Max.
Maybe they couldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they couldn't get the rights or whatever.
Yeah.
But I am, because Carrie is the quintessential high school horror movie.
That's very correct. You're very right about that. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. Check out me on just me plugging my stuff. Check out me on Spectre Cinema Club where I talk about Carrie and the remake of Carrie from TV. That was such a ridiculous conversation. I loved it. Anyway, but yeah, so all right, so that's what we have.
The poor listeners are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Sorority Row," and be like, an hour and a half later, they're still talking about Pretty Wild in the Hills.
And that's fine. That's totally fine, though. You know what you came for. Like, this movie doesn't need that much. But anyway, but yeah. So here we have like, all right. So people are trying to capture Scream again, right? And then they're like, all right, in the 2000s. All right, Soul Survival didn't work with Liz Dushku. All right, that didn't work. Let's see what else we can make. And then someone had the bright idea to remake a little movie called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And Michael Bay decided to remake that and produce it pretty much. And that brought in a lot of money. And oh, don't worry, we're gonna do an episode on Texas Chainsaw. Got on the books. It's gonna happen. And you'll hear all about that because I have finally watched all the Texas Chainsaw movies, and we're gonna have a whole conversation about it with me and Pickens because
we have opinions.
We have opinions and thoughts, and it is crazy. So be on the lookout for that because it's gonna happen. Anyway, but so yeah, Texas Chainsaw made a buttload of money, right? And so, because studios, as we know nowadays, can't make anything original half the time, they just thought, all right, let's go where the money is and let's remake movies, which is fine. I'm not knocking remakes. However, they remade so many horror movies, which again, this movie we're talking about is absolutely a part of. I mean, so many. Anyway,
and not all of them diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, well, yes, correct. Like not all of them were the weird, not all of them were the kind of, what's the word? Lightning in a bottle that I guess Texas Chainsaw is, but like it depends on who you ask. But like, yeah, that just happened to really hit at a good time, I guess. But yeah, we have everything from like the Amityville Horror, which I saw in theaters. I had my ass in theaters for that. House of Wax, which I saw in theaters. The Hills Have Eyes, which I saw in theaters. My poor mother, thank fuck for her, because like she just took me to these things because I was like this little horror mo, and just
your mother is much nicer than mine. My mom would
have never
would never.
She literally sat in that Regal Cinema while I watched Emil DeRaven and that guy from Easy A just like run around. Like, what is this? Like, really? Anyway, but yeah. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at in terms of this. So, like, really, this movie, like, was a part of that. Now, specifically, though, Mark Rossman, who we'll talk about Mark Rossman, but he initially wrote a screenplay that ended up becoming, it was initially called like Seven Sisters was a working title of it, but it ended up becoming the movie called The House on Sorority Row from 1982, which, fun fact, that movie, also back to Rumer Willis for a minute. Have you ever seen a movie called From Within by any chance? Have you ever seen that movie?
Not, no.
So it has her and Thomas Dekker in it, sexy Thomas Dekker, and you know who he is, right?
Yes.
He's Jesse from the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, yes.
The one who's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but they're in a movie called From Within, and that movie was actually shot in a little place called Havre de Grace, Maryland, where I may or may not have lived close to when they were making that movie. I'm not in the movie. I'm not an extra or anything because I was like in high school. But which doesn't mean that we couldn't have been, but maybe, I don't know actually, but whatever. But yes, like that was kind of fun. All I remember is that somebody, my sister who worked at a pizza parlor at the time, said that one of her like coworkers or something said that apparently Rumer Willis came into a pizza shop at one time. And that was kind of
wow.
fun. I don't.
Good for Rumor. She eats pizza.
She went
Celebrities.
to.
They're
She went.
really just like us.
Yeah, no, because literally, like, I'm telling you, Pickens, like, that would have been like for Harford County, bitch. Oh, that would have been everything. Oh yeah. Oh, completely. But yes, that was kind of a big deal that they did that, and it was one of the movies to die for. You remember those from Horror Fest
Oh yes. Oh
back from the
God. Dark.
2000s?
Yes, I remember. I was obsessed with Dark Ride.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
those that's where like Mungo came from. A lot of the 8 films to die for, the after horror or whatever the hell. Oh my god, that was a whole thing. But anyway, so yes, but that was kind of fun. But this movie, The House on Sorority Row we're talking about a little bit, was actually done in Pikesville, Maryland. A lot of it was shot there. Which is not actually, I used to work over near Pikesville, so I would drive to Pikesville almost, well, not completely Pikesville, but I would drive near it to the hospital I worked at. And that was kind of cool. I was like, I didn't know this when I first watched this movie. What the hell? Like, and so yes, the place that is the sorority house is still a thing. It is now condos that people own, though. So you could probably
Ah.
watch it, or like you could probably go and see it because it's an old mansion technically, but that mansion has now been turned into condos, so you can't like go into it or anything, and the swimming pool's not there anymore either, which is sad,
What
but
a
whatever.
ripoff. Gosh. Well, now we're
I
gonna
know.
kill my sorority house mother. Gosh.
Yeah, so that's like the basic idea, though, is that that's what the story is that these girls are trying to cover up a prank, and then somebody is like killing these girls, pretty much. Same kind of plot. But producer Mike Cars, sorry, and Darren Hollander, I guess, they acquired the rights to this movie, which wouldn't be surprising because it did end up becoming kind of a cult favorite. It probably was easy to get the rights. And he hired the 2 writers of this film to update it. So we'll talk about that when we get to maybe a little bit of just like this discussion that we have. Yeah, the writing is not that good, and it's because it's like heterosexual white straight men doing it. But okay. Um, but creating a new story based on the original screenplay, they kept to the same story though, which is a morality tale about young women who make bad choices that then come back to haunt them. But they insisted that more humor needs to be injected into the script, which I do think technically they did achieve to a point.
They did.
Um,
Just sometimes
yeah,
they made choices on when the humor should be happening.
yeah, that's correct. The finished script impressed Rossman enough where he came on as an executive producer. So he didn't think it was complete trash. So that's good. And so this movie was shot in October of 2008 in Pittsburgh, which is funny because I wouldn't have expected that, but it was. That's kind of nice.
I did not know that.
It was. Although the setting is not specified, they wanted to take advantage of the tax credits that are in Pennsylvania and the strength of local film crews. So shoot local. Like, not everywhere needs to go to like New York or LA. Like, you can make movies wherever. This is mostly shot at night in a place called Homestead, which is 1 block from the Carnegie Library of Homestead. I don't know if that's a part of Carnegie Mellon, but no, it's like a literal library. It was founded by Andrew Carnegie, which is like a big deal apparently. And so the houses were dressed to resemble a sorority row. And then the graduation scene. Do you know what the name of this university is?
Oh yes, is it's oh God, not Rossin University
It's
because
Rossman University, which
Rossman,
is
yes.
named after the director, which I thought was cute. Anyway, so that was shot outside of like Oakland neighborhood in there. And yeah, this was like and a lot of these like sorority house, like inside shots were done at a warehouse in Crafton, Pennsylvania. So that's nice. Like they, again, made it all local, which I appreciate. But yeah, I mean, like, needless to say, this movie, I mean, it got released. They had a teaser over at San Diego Comic-Con when they released it. And it got released, like I said, September 9th in the US, September 11th in the UK, around that. And so, yeah, I mean, like this movie again made its money back and all that. But again, the critical response to this movie is not the best. Because you have many people who just, say like, what is it? I think Stephen Holden from New York Times said that's an interminable mess that juggles more characters and undeveloped subplots than it can handle and even manages to bungle the setup. But it does have 2 memorable camp moments. one where Mrs. Crenshaw hauls out a rifle to go after the hooded fiend and says in a booming voice, "Don't think I'm afraid of you. I run a house with 50 crazy bitches." That's putting it mildly. So yeah, that is camp though.
And
But
2013 Tumblr, Chug's cheer slut gif was very much used in a lot of things, and a lot of moody teens were definitely putting cheer slut all the time. So that movie infamous for that.
it did that too, yes. And then, of course, too, the abject supporter of this movie, one Trace Thurman from the Horror Queers and Bloody Disgusting, has argued that Sorority Row, quote, manages to subvert any and all expectations by being a hilarious little slasher that knows exactly what type of film it is and praises the film's camp humor. And I think that is kind of a big thing, like, is that this movie, I mean, we can talk about it, but like, yeah, who is this movie for exactly? You know, like,
yeah, that's what I mean, because it's not for older horror fans, because it would, if you love the House on Sorority Row, you're not going to necessarily like this one because it's bastardizing the original film. It's not for, I mean, I feel like, I think it's for people that enjoyed Prom Night, the remake of Prom Night, and now they're just a little older and they get the more adult version.
Sure, yeah. I think it was, made for that. And I think like it just so happened that gays could watch this and be like, oh, that's kind of fun. That's kind of bitchy fun or whatever. No, totally.
Yeah, it definitely, Mean Girls with the body count.
Sure, yeah, a little bit edgier than Mean Girls, but yeah, for sure. Because I don't think it was written for women. I mean, not at all.
Oh god, no. The conversations alone that they have with each other it's sister, bitch, and just various sentences just thrown in jokes.
No, completely, yes. Oh my god. So there's that. So, yeah, I mean, there's that, and then also like when it comes down to like this movie that didn't really have that, like, with, I don't know who it's for. And then also, I mean, like, the tone of the movie, like, overall, I guess is fine. Yeah, I guess the tone, like, for the most part, it like I think this is a little bit of a better movie than Black Xmas, because I think Black Xmas kind of focuses a little bit too much on Billy for my liking, and not enough on the girls that are fabulous in that movie too.
Yes, but Black Christmas, actually, these movies are the similarities between them are, but Black Christmas has, oh god, they have better gore effects.
I can agree with that. Yeah, a little bit. I just watched Ice Princess like a few days ago with Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yes.
And they kill her. They kill her with an ice skate.
With the ice skates
in Black Christmas. Oh god. And Katie Cassidy is everything. I love you. Anyway, sorry, but like, she's so good. Why did she not live in that remake for Nightmare on Elm Street? Why?
She is such an icon. She
is.
I just love that little pink. Oh my gosh, the pink puffer jacket. Oh god, just
beautiful.
I love
cinema.
Her. Yeah, I love her.
Anyway,
cinema.
It really is. But yeah, no, I mean, like, yeah, like this film, like, I guess the tone, like, for the most part, like, yes, it's a horror movie, and like also, like, I guess it was supposed to be camp, like, sure, a little bit, like, they just had fun with it, I guess, really. Yeah, I mean, in this situation, like, I like how a lady from the Village Voice named Michelle Orange said, a very thin feminist subtext about the meaning of sisterhood only highlights how bad this movie botched its attempt to have it both ways. Naked, bleeding cuties combined with final girl-ish butt-whipping empowerment. Call me the sarcastic sister, but the only thing screaming in any convincing way here are the cheap look, the epileptic direction, and off-key, quote, edgy humor. It's all so 80s I could die. Which, honestly, those are fighting words for Pickens. Like, listen.
Honestly, I'm... Bring him up.
Bring them up, because listen, like, there's a certain love that we have for some 80s horror. Fun times. But yeah, no, it's I definitely did message you before and said to you, like, after I watched Graduation Day, I was like, what is it about these movies, man? Like, I just like, and even Sorority Row, the House on Sorority Row, like, it is such a fascinating little movie, honestly. Like, and the fact that it's like a weird film that, because you know what Mark Rossman did after this? Do you know the other movies he did? Like, do you happen to know that?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, I don't know if I'll blow your mind with this. So Mark Rossman started his career doing this movie, The House on Sorority Row, but then he also, and his cinematographer, Tim Surstedt, I believe, Mark Rossman ended up making a little movie. Well, the one you'll know the best probably is one film called Life Size from, Disney. He literally directed that.
Shine bright, shine far, don't be shy, be a star.
He also co-wrote it.
Be a star with the. Oh, but I have two pictures
Unhinged.
in front of me. Unhinged. I'm acting. Tyra Banks.
Who else was scared? Get that? What did you call me before the show? A fag enabler? Get that faggot off my TV. I don't want to watch that.
I have never in my life fielded a girl like this. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
That whole Tyra Banks is an unhinged person in a way, but damn it if she's not somewhat compelling. I also like how a lot of the top model girls hate her, which I understand.
My God. She and Wendy Williams were definitely cut from the same cloth. And I
absolutely.
I think my lucky stars and stripes, I got to live in a world that they're in.
And that they had TV shows. Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so he made that movie. He also made Model Behavior with Justin Timberlake, which is also another like little weird TV movie.
Mm-hmm.
But he also this you'll actually probably like know this movie, obviously, A Cinderella Story with his Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff.
Oh no. It's the Botox. I can't show emotion for another hour and a half. Do you want a cookie? So moist.
Oh God.
You're not very pretty and you're not very bright. Yeah, I may have seen A Cinderella Story like a long time ago when I was a kid.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
That movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He also directed that. So like that's a thing. And he also made a little thing for himself doing like Liz McGuire and like Even Stevens and stuff. So like
from slasher to Disney.
Yeah, well, kind of like a little bit. Like he ended up, he really did. You're very right about that. So that is so weird. And Tim Surstedt, he's the guy who shot Little Miss Sunshine, Office Space, The Wedding Singer, 17 Again. He also shot, oh my God, he shot some bangers, dude. He shot Mannequin. He shot Don't Tell Mommy Babysitter's Dead and Bill and Ted. Stephen Herrick, come on.
Oh my God. Wow. That's one of the things that these movies have in common. Both the original and the remake have very good cinematography.
I will say that, yes. And I think, Tim is also a Baltimore boy, apparently. So good for him. Baltimore boy done right. I appreciate that. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, like, that's a little bit about, like, just us bullshitting about this movie, I guess. Now, so Pickens, like, if you had to explain, I already went over like a little bit of what the plot was of the House on Sorority Row, but pretend like I didn't say that. If you were to explain this movie to a person who's never seen it before, how would you describe this movie and how would you tell somebody it? What's your elevator pitch for Sorority Row?
I would say Pretty Little Liars in college that is trying to emulate Black Christmas and Audrina.
Just Audrina. Just that could be the one thing.
Audrina Patridge.
I think it's Patridge, but it's fine.
You know what?
Otherwise, she'd be.
It might be Patridge. You're right, but it's more fun to say Partridge. That's how I say
Partridge. Yes. Yeah, Audrina. Partridge. Audrina. So Partridge.
Justin Bobby was not here to rescue her this time.
I don't even know who that is, but okay.
This isn't a Hills podcast, but she did date him, and it caused drama between her and Lauren.
Oh God. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a Hills podcast. This is also after we do our As Told by Ginger podcast that I would also do as well.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm
We're
a
doing.
little seal girl living in the real world. Oh,
Why are you like this anyway? God. That show is so good. Sorry. We're
so
like
good.
we're gonna make that at some point. Oh God. Anyway. But yeah, so I mean that's a fair assessment. Yeah, I like that. That makes total sense. Like pretty much what that is, yeah. I mean, like the actual plot, I guess, is like these girls accidentally kill their sorority sister friend, and then they're covering it up, and then some person comes back and like decides to kill all these people involved. That's pretty much what happens, I guess. If I had to explain it, I guess we can go through a few of these characters and just like kind of what our opinions are about them, if you will. I guess we'll focus on the girls, really. We know you love Audrina, I get it. But I mean, do you have thoughts on Megan? Because she's kind of like the least
Yeah,
used
she's
character.
like what, like in it for like 3 minutes. I mean,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
not much.
I mean, Audrina's acting. There's a reason why she was only like in this movie and like like a handful of others. It's like
Yeah,
he cheated on me. It's just
that's
like,
very true.
yeah.
Her
So
titties looked good, though. I will say
yeah. Oh
that.
yeah. You know what? And she did a good job playing dead.
She did do a great job playing dead, for sure. What are your thoughts on Cassidy? So our main final girl.
I yes, I like Cassidy. I mean, I do love the actress, and I used to I for a long time before I like finally looked it up. I thought that was Danielle Harris actually for a little bit.
I get it though.
Yeah, she just gave off some Danielle Harris vibe for some reason. But yeah, I like her. She's she's a little holier than thou, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame her for the experience that her character went through.
Yeah, no,
Just
I think like I really like Briana Evigan's, like I like her little raspy voice she has. I think it sets her apart. I do like that. And then yeah, I mean like Final Girl speaking, I mean like, yeah, like she does want to see, it seems as if she wants to do what's right and she can't because
but I do. But she is
you
cool
know
as a cucumber. I'm revoking the holier than thou thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. She's cool as a cucumber, and I like that.
she was good under pressure for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on our resident mean girl / sorority leader, Jessica?
So I always go back and forth on which is my favorite character, and she's always like she's a ringer. She is a ringer for sure because I think every single line that she says pretty much is just reading someone to filth, just being an absolute bitch to everyone, and I just love that psychotic like control freaky power whoreness of it all. I love her.
I kind of do too, because I think that's where a lot of people, especially queer folks, like they can like this movie for specifically her. I love how so the YouTuber Zavid, if you ever watch his videos, iconic bald wonderful man, but he reacted to this movie because he had people on his channel tell him to react to it. And yes, there is a certain in his video he says that there is a certain breed of bad bitches that do not make it through their movies, unfortunately, and that Jessica is definitely a part of those. Some of these include let's see, Jennifer Jolie from Scream 3. Absolutely.
I'm so mad about it.
I'm still mad about it too. Janessa from Jason X, who David has a real affinity for because he loves Jason X. I kind of do too, honestly. But like, Janessa, amazing. Lee from Black Christmas, who was the hoe from Final Destination.
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth Watson. Yeah,
Winstead.
Thank you.
No, so no. She's the teacher from the older sister of that chick who died in the beginning or whatever. That's Lee or whatever. But she's the teacher from Final Destination. That's her.
Oh,
That's
the
who I'm referring
teacher
to.
from right.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mary
yes.
Elizabeth Winstead plays like the Southerner
She's
in that
the
movie.
NASCAR, the spoiled princess. Yes,
Yes. So
yes,
that's
yes,
who I'm
yes.
referring to. My one favorite line of that movie is literally when that chick is in her coat and Lacey Chabert just comes up to her and she just says, "I love that coat."
Yes, yes. Oh yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
good.
Oh,
It's so good.
my favorite line is when she's looking for her sister and she
Uh-huh.
opens that door and that like paper Santa Claus falls down. And she goes,
Yeah.
"Fuck you, Santa Claus."
Oh God, yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna do that one too. It's gonna happen.
Hmm.
But anyway, like, so that's iconic. Who are some other bad bitches that are in there? I mean, Jessica's in there. I'm trying to think if there was the other one.
Oh,
Those are like pretty good.
Amanda from Friday the 13th, Part 7. She was she
Oh, which one's that?
she's the one with the pearl necklace that's just an absolute bit. It's the psychic Friday the
Oh,
13th. And she's just a bitch to every
you
single
mean
person.
Friday the 13th because
Friday.
a bunch of
I
people are
love
gay.
Friday. I love there's a great podcast called Friday the 13th. If you haven't heard them,
Yes,
yes. Check them out.
yes,
They're wonderful.
yeah, and you can also hear Pickens on it, I believe, because you
I
were
had,
literally on an
yeah.
episode.
I've been on an episode. I think I've been on, yes, no, I have been on it. Yes, I have been on an episode. Have I been on two? No, I've only been on one.
Yeah.
Been on one, I got a call on one of them. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Woo.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Mm,
No, they're actually really they seem cool and I like their podcast.
they're
Um,
amazing.
but that movie is also called Friday the 13th because a bunch of people from that movie are now gay. So that happened. But anyway. So yeah, there is a certain level of bad bitch that doesn't always make it through their movies, which is sad. And that's unfortunate. But yeah. No, I think that's why queer people can like this movie because of someone like Jessica, because she so is unabashedly a bitch. And it has to come from somewhere, I guess, but like I don't know where it comes from, to be honest, but who knows? You could get into the weeds with that if you wanted to, I'm sure. Do you have any thoughts about Ellie, Rumer Willis's character at all?
And my only impression, my only, she just a lot of screaming, a lot of
Yeah.
meltdowns. I mean, I'm glad that we're gonna get into spoiler territory early, but I'm glad
Sure.
that at the end, she kind of has to comeuppance and like kind of like
Hmm.
just take charge. Like it's like finally, this is what we've been waiting for, Ellie.
Right.
But the whole movie is just she's just a wreck, and it's like okay, we get it. She's breaking under pressure.
Right. No, totally. I can agree with that. Like, a lot of what that is just, and I'm just like, really? Like, I guess that's what we're supposed to have is that she is this kind of like anxious, like pool of, sweat. And then she turns into the bad bitch at the end in a way, like she gets to have that transformation. So I guess that's why she's written that way. But yeah, no, I can agree that she's not the most interesting. But it is. It is what it is. We're gonna get to her, but I'm gonna mention this person before her. What about Claire? So Jamie Chung's character. Do you have any thoughts about her?
I think out of all of them, I she like gets the least amount to do, which
Hmm.
is sad because of course she is the token minority of the film, and
Yeah.
they kind of don't really like. There's not really anything super distinctive about her character except she likes to get fucked in
Hmm.
hot tubs, hey girl, me too.
Hey.
But yeah, it's just I like the actress. I think
Mhm.
and she does have her death scene's pretty cool with the
Yeah.
foam and everything. But yeah, I just it's but she kind of just she's the most like the least like kind of shown like the least like a developed character.
I can agree with that. I don't think she has much to do with this. And yeah, I mean, I wish she had a little bit more to do, but like, yeah, I don't know why they even cast her in it, maybe, but who even knows? I don't even know, man. It's hard to say. Like, if they were going to give her that not much, on the page. So I don't know. It's weird. And then we have to get to our final, not actual final girl, because she's the first one to die. But your girl, Chugs, because I feel like you have an affinity for her.
Oh, I do.
No.
She just cracks me up. But why do you taste like vomit? Oh, because I threw up earlier, but it's okay. I took a mint.
Oh my god, that is
Really
so true
cold
though.
down there.
Like,
You can heat me up. Oh God. And fucking her psychiatrist for for pills. She's just such a role model.
I mean, hey, like that is very not ethical behavior at all, but do we expect anything more or less? No,
No,
not at all.
no, yeah.
Nope. Yeah, I think for me, Chugs, like she's the comic reliefs of this movie, as is Jessica as well.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
because she is seen as that and she is kind of anchored as that. If anything, I find her character yes, she is kind of funny, even though it's really horribly outdated humor.
Yeah,
That is not great.
in reality, it's very depressing because she is
It's
a
very depressing.
complete and utter alcoholic and has very low self-esteem and a possible pill problem.
Yeah, so that's like where I was pretty much, you took the words right out of my mouth actually. So look at that. But like, yeah, no, like it also just feels really weird because I'm just like, she's also like kind of the most tragic in a way. Like the weird thing with Ellie of like, she's the one who is on scholarship, so all these other hoes are like rich apparently. I'm like, okay, fine, I guess. Like,
right. It's like, okay, yeah.
yeah. And I'm cool with Briana Evigan being our like final girl technically, but honestly, yeah, I don't know. Like, why do I care about like Cassidy? I don't even really know. I think she could have played a more interesting character.
She does charity,
She does do charity.
Yeah, like a lot of her character is pretty much just complaining to her boyfriend about like the stuff she has to do for the sorority.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like just just constantly talking about the fact they killed Megan, like no wonder everyone found it out.
I know, right? Like seriously, like it's just one of those things where it's like, who are we supposed to? I get who the final girl is and I get it, but at the same time I'm like, and that's why people, I mean, spoilers obviously, but like that's why I think people were so gutted when Jessica gets killed, because they were like, oh my god, why couldn't this bad bitch have been the final girl? Like, what the hell?
Honestly, she could have thrown a few more insults to him. Like, yeah, it's just,
it would have been great.
It would have been awesome.
Yeah, no, totally. I totally believe that. Yeah, so I mean, those are our characters pretty much. I don't really know in terms of like, we don't have many adult characters. I mean, Carrie Fisher's Carrie Fisher in this movie. She doesn't have much of development in the movie whatsoever.
But she does do, she does do, but what she's given, she delivers.
She does deliver, as the quote that I read from earlier says. That's a literal quote from the movie. And you know what? That's fine with me. It's Carrie Fisher delivering it. So why not? And then what's funny about it too is that these boys in this movie are so, in a way, they're so incidental to the plot, really. Because like,
and so generic. Like
very generic white heterosexuals.
The only one I know is the only name I remember is Cassidy's boyfriend Andy. But the other two I can't remember, and honestly, like I would sometimes confuse them. I was like, wait, who's that? Oh, right. Okay.
If you have facial blindness for like white folks, like these movies are not going to be for you, because people just look the same at some point. And I'm just like, who is this? Wait, what?
They're all handsome brunette white guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And even like, I guess the girls are kind of distinct, but also you're just like, wait, which white lady is this stalking? I don't remember. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But that's true. It's very true. Which is interesting, which is why I think this movie can get kind of lobbed in with like something like a Black Christmas, because I think what this movie at least does is it follows the girls, whereas with Black Christmas it does follow Billy more than the girls, where people are like, wait a minute, these girls are like fabulous as hell, like why don't we follow them more? This movie we do follow them a little bit more, and they are bad bitches technically, I guess, but I would put this into a weird pantheon of like a little bit like of a Jawbreaker, like a Mean Girls, if you will. Like, it's a female driven story that was not made by females whatsoever. which is just very fascinating to me. And I'm just like,
Oh
what
yeah,
is
and
this?
it shows. It's like from the
And it
opening
shows.
shot, it shows.
Yeah, it does
Because
show.
I don't know what college these men were envisioning, but I don't think they have a giant bed and a nakedish pillow fight happening at a college party.
I don't think so either. I didn't go to a school that had fraternities or sororities, so I cannot comment.
I was never in a fraternity, but a lot of frat guys have been in me.
Oh, fraternity X, eh? Okay. Oh, okay. Anyway,
I know nothing of what you speak.
we,
Fraternity X, what is that? I'm a good
dude,
Christian woman.
don't look that thing up, listeners. Don't look it up. Okay,
It,
stop.
don't. It is. If you want to be traumatized, look it up.
Hey, listen, maybe some people want to do that. Speaking of just from the opening scene onward, do you have any particular like standout scenes of this movie that you like want to highlight and talk about or at all?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, obviously, like the first kill scene, with Audrina, and then like
Mm-hmm.
arguing all over there. Chug's death scene. I think Chug's death scene. This movie is not scary at all.
No,
But
not at all.
the only one that but I feel like Chug's death scene definitely builds the most suspense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there is like a little suspense with that one.
Totally.
Um,
I think because like to set the scene or whatever, so Chugs is going to her psychiatrist who has been tied up in his bed, and she's going to have sex with him to get pills from him. And so we see her walking into his very lavish home. And so yeah, the tension building through that I do think is fairly decent. Because they get her in a vulnerable position where she's on her back drinking out of this wine glass or a wine bottle,
Wine
really, I
bottle.
think,
Yeah.
and it gets shoved in her mouth, and then that's how she dies pretty much, from our killer who then killed her psychiatrist before her. But anyway, but I can see that. Like, I do think that's a good kill scene, and I do think the opening, just the opening in general, like, this obviously takes place on a different fucking planet, dude. Like what you were saying, like, these are not real parties. I don't think they could be, even on a sorority row, which is whatever. Don't think so. But that just shows like what fucking dimension we're in. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, completely.
I do kind of like the little kill scene in the beginning where, the whole accident happens and all of that. Yeah, I think there's that. And then also like the scene where they do have like near the end of the film where you have Carrie Fisher, Mrs. Crenshaw, she has her gun, her shotgun, and she's like trying to kill the killer or
Oh,
whatever.
that is just it's so great.
It's so good. But then also this is where we start to see the girls kind of, because the party has let out or whatever, and they like left the party for some reason, to go find Megan back at where they left her, and then they come back and the whole party's like vacated pretty much, and all this other ensues. But anyway, but yeah, no, I like that scene where it's kind of these girls going off on their own in this abandoned like house that they have now or whatever.
Oh yeah, the east wing is getting fixed, but it's like
Mhm.
it's like half the house, but like yeah, it just that made it zero. That was
It's really weird. And yeah, this is where we start seeing other people die. So we have like Claire dies in this scene, and then we have someone else dies too. So I know Jessica dies as well. She's the last death of the movie, really. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like these scenes. My favorite line of this movie, though, I must say, is literally when near the end of the film, where we find out who the killer is. The killer is actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the killer is Andy, who is Cassidy's boyfriend.
Yes, but it is a little it's a little confusing because first you first think it's they try to make you think that it's
Trevor.
Megan's sister.
Oh, true.
Megan's sister, yeah. Then it tries to make you think that it's Trevor, who's Jessica's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, it's him. But then it turns out to be Andy, Cassidy's boyfriend, because they are going to, because he's protecting her, question mark, by killing all of her friends.
Yeah, like in a weird way. So I think what it is that yes, they do think that Caroline Diamore, who plays Maggie, who's Megan's sister, they think it's her because she's not meek or anything, but like she comes in as like oh hey, I'm gonna rush Theta Pi next year. Da da da.
Mm-hmm.
And also fun little fact about the Friday Gay the 13th podcast is that their theme song actually includes the little cheer that they have in the beginning of this movie.
Oh
It's very
yes.
cute. But anyway, but yeah, so but no, they do think it's her, but then it ends up not being her, because she actually lives at the end. But yes, we do have that Trevor, because his dad is a politician, and they have that whole scene where the dad and Jessica are at dinner before Trevor gets there, and he's pretty much like, he didn't say this, but like, my boy needs to settle down with a Jackie, and like you're pretty much a Maryland, I guess.
And you're a Maryland. Yes.
Like that's pretty much what he was saying, like literally, because
He's
she
the
was
only character that could outread her.
kind of sort of like they just went back and forth because like literally, but I think it's supposed to show something a little different about her, except for her just being a bitch, which is kind of fine. Like it's something that's showing a little different, but okay, whatever. But yeah, no, I think the thing was that yes, you think it's Trevor at first, and then Trevor dies, and then you find out it's actually Andy. And the reason it's Andy, like you were saying, is that Cassidy has not really liked her time at the sorority, and especially after this whole accident, she's kind of conflicted with all of this. So in order to help her, kind of get away from this toxic, sort of environment of this sorority, he decided to just kill these people, I guess, is what
Yeah. And
happens.
it's all because Ellie is the one who told him. And
Yes.
then you find out that basically everyone has pretty much told like at least one person, like
Mhm.
their boyfriend or their shrink and stuff. So it's
Yes,
basically
yes.
like, oh, we gotta kill them all and protect you and like make sure the secret doesn't get out. It's like,
The
okay.
other line I like, which is kind of funny, because all of Jessica's lines are funny, pretty much, like a lot of them. But like, but the one line I do like from Andy is just like, they've told us we need to start doing more things together, so let's go kill Ellie together. Like pretty
Right. Oh my
much. I was like,
gosh.
okay. Like that's where I think like the camp is kind of in here, where I'm just like, okay, yeah. Like or like I said, I mean like the one line of, shit, who lit the house on fire? Like that's very funny too. Like, I mean, it's these things because she sounds so inconvenienced.
Oh
I
yeah, it's
love
just
it.
really like, oh my god, who put the house on fire?
Sorry, shit. God. Well. And, like literally the whole house is on fire. Let me tell you something about this fire at the end though. Oh my god.
Oh my god, indeed.
I mean, I've seen Orphan's First Kill, which is a great film. Yeah, it's that kind of quality of they were not really, there was not real fire there. I don't believe it at all. They green screened that shit. They put it in
Oh
there.
god.
Nothing was on fire whatsoever.
Nothing was on fire. My favorite
Mm-mm.
thing is, so in the climax of the film, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
they're like in the living room. Maggie, who tried to escape the house, Andy threw a Molotov cocktail at her, and so she's trapped in this like little ring of fire, surrounded by all the fire. She's like, I'm trapped. And then like the floor falls down, and that Andy basically is incinerated in flames, which okay. And Rumer Willis finally like springs into action, and she's just like, go do this, go do that. And she tells Maggie to grab like these drapes and cover herself and run through this field of fire. And she's barefoot while she does this. Just
Like, what the
completely, oh my
fuck?
gosh. Yeah.
I don't
It
even know,
was
man. Yeah, this movie is ridiculous and crazy. And I mean, yeah, that scene where Andy lights up and he like falls through the floor or whatever. I mean, very reminiscent of the scene in Charlie's Angels where that happens. Um
mm,
Amazing. And then also like that's definitely just a reference to that in general, because that's definitely like a cinematic thing of like a person falling into fire. Like probably from Lord of the Rings or some shit or whatever, but this isn't new, mama. All right. So listen. But yeah, so it's like there's that. I mean, although I will say, like, at the end, so We also don't find out. And here's another thing too. We do not find out what the fuck happens to Cassidy or any of these girls, because you know why? They walk out bad bitch style out of this burning house, and literally, like, that's the end of these girls.
Literally,
And
in
that's all
roll
we know.
credits. Yep.
Oh, not roll credits yet, because we find out 15 months later where apparently they built up this sorority house again after it being
Yeah.
burned.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we do have the ending where we have Maggie, who is Theta Pi, and then they are singing to like the people who are, I guess, leaving. Where they say Theta Pi says goodbye, Theta Pi says goodbye, and that's how it actually ends. And then like some guy with like a knife or something, who's like a landscaper person or something. Like, it's to assume that like, oh, it's not done yet.
There's gonna be a sequel,
and there wasn't. So
there never was.
If we just don't find out what happens, but you know what? They walk bad bitch style, you know, like three girls walking down the hallway kind of thing, although they're walking out of this house to this lawn or whatever, walking all bad bitch like. So that's the end. That's all it is, you know. So I'm just like, okay.
It was the boyfriend all along.
Something tells me that you just could tell men wrote this. Like, my God.
Completely.
Anyway, but this movie, I mean, if anything, like, it is a fascinating film that I think has since been able to get a fan base in the queer community, which I think is cool. I mean, there's a reason you like it, I guess, right? Yeah. Like, sure,
it's
like,
fun, it's campy, it's, you know, doesn't take itself too seriously.
I will say that I think it takes itself seriously enough where it has to as a horror movie, but I do think maybe because it was because it was not written by a homo, but it was directed by one. If anything, hopefully that's kind of where that comedy came in a little bit. Because otherwise, if it didn't have this would have been a huge snooze.
Oh God, big time.
It would have been a huge snooze, because you already have to be in kind of a mood anyway to watch the original, like, honestly. And it's fine. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but it can be a slog if you're not in the right, like, headspace.
It's definitely a slow burn. And this one, while not necessarily a slow burn, I was like, you could easily take like 10 minutes and like just chop it up a little bit, because I think it did. It overstays its welcome a little too much. Yeah.
It just, there's that, and then just like, I would have liked if there was a little bit more female stuff behind the scenes a little bit, but that's not what we had back then. You know what's funny is this movie literally came out, and then guess what came out the week after?
What?
Jennifer's Body.
Oh, speaking of good high school horror.
Why isn't that not on Criterion Channel? What the hell?
Honestly, oh my gosh, it would be so good.
Listen to my episode on Jennifer's Body, because I love that movie. Like, pretty much, like, you know, I like it. Like, it's good. Patrick Starr, like, yelling, like, you know, I'll find you or whatever. Like, amazing. Like,
so good, so good.
Did I? No. Oh, I almost put Clancy Brown in that movie. He is not in that movie. He is in that Nightmare movie. Okay, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
He is. Oh God, him and Connie Britton. Oh Jesus.
Oh,
I love you, Clancy Brown, but like, he needed the check. He needed the mortgage payment.
He needed that paycheck.
He needed that check, and I'm not mad at him for it. But anyway, I mean, like, this little movie, like, I definitely think like, this movie has gotten a reappraisal by queer audiences as kind of this camp thing, which is why I wanted to cover it, you know, because why not? Like, you know, I like camp cult type movies, and because it's cut from the same cloth as the original movie, which is definitely a cult movie. So that's why I definitely wanted to kind of have these little separate episodes. And mostly because I didn't want to do both of them at the same time, I guess. But we'll probably do the other one. We'll do the original at some point, because again, it's a different kind of movie, and we can get a little bit more into the weeds.
It is, the plot is a little different too.
It is a little different, and I will give Sorority Row this, is that it did take took this movie and did something different with it.
I completely agree.
Yes, I will always at least give something to that. Whether that works or not all the time, is subjective because the Black Christmas 2019 remake still exists.
Oh yeah, the 2019 one. Oh my God.
That
Did
still
you steal my
exists.
Diva cup? Oh
And
my God.
putting it in right in front of her. And that
Oh,
Exorcist 3 like little homage, quote unquote. Oh,
oh,
also you watched Exorcist 2. How was that?
I forgot. Just, you know,
The whole
you,
movie. Just like
you,
forget it.
yeah, it just, so I'm watching it all in preparation for the new one, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
reserved on how I'm reserved.
It's Blumhouse, so I understand your trepidation.
Mhm. But so I watched the original. I watched the first one, which is
Mm-hmm.
still it just oh god, it's just that is actual cinema. It
Mm-hmm.
holds up so well.
Right.
And I remember watching. I remember being mildly amused by the sequel when I saw it the first time.
Sure, yeah, sure.
And so I turned it on and I was like, oh yeah, this is shot really well. Like it's a beautiful looking movie. But
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, speaking of snot, like this movie, it's 117 minutes and you
Oh
feel
no.
every single minute because
Ugh.
nothing happens and you're so bored. I think I gave up halfway through and just kind of fast forwarded through like most of it until like the
Mm,
very end, which is the only thing that has like any sort of like
that's fair.
climax.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. No, the Exorcist 3 little thing that they did in that movie, just I don't. But you know what? Sophia Takal seems like a nice lady, and I'm not
mhm.
mad at her. I'm kind of mad at Jason Blum because he's also terrible. So
Oh, that
God.
terrible up on the housetop song. Oh my God. Just
Not
oh
not great. I don't
that
know. No. Nope.
I just feel like they went on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. And
No, seriously.
it just like typed in buzzwords for the day and just generated a script
Feminism.
from it.
Hashtag feminism.
Hashtag
Like whatever.
feminism and just was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Don't worry,
Oh my
because we
God.
will talk about Black Christmas at some point, probably near the holiday season. Um, yeah, I don't know if I'm talking about that one. I would talk about the other two
I
maybe, but
yeah, the other two are worth talking about a lot. This movie, I hope will just never. I just hope it never sees the light of day.
if it has people who like it, great, and I'm happy for
I don't know
them.
who those people are, and I don't.
Why?
Yeah,
But that I just can't do it.
there are dozens of them.
I guess like just people, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but this movie, I will give it that, like the Slumber Party Massacre remake, it does something different. Sorority Row, I think, does something different as well. And I can at least appreciate that from a standpoint. Like even the Texas Chainsaw remake, like it does a little something different,
Hmm.
So like it's nice to at least have that when it comes to these remakes. And I also just wish they would make original. Well, just talking now, I mean, like I wish they would just make more original stuff out there.
Honestly,
Whether it's bad or not, I guess it's subjective. I mean, I've seen a couple of the new things from last year. Like I liked Smile, like it was fine,
hmm.
and that's at least kind of original. So it's
Yeah.
just being able to see that.
I
And
know you
yeah,
don't agree with it, but I liked Bad Things.
we did talk about that. I mentioned that on my what I watched. You know what? I do have Lyle on my watch list this month, so it's on Peacock, and so I can watch it. Yeah, no bad things for me. Yeah, no. I think I'm done with things being played for. I would say with things being referenced from The Shining,
Mm, fair.
and
That is fair.
I'm just kind of
We
like,
have gotten a lot
girl,
of
like no.
yeah, we
But
have gotten a lot of those lately.
yeah, but Stewart Thorndike seems like a nice person. I like them. They seem that Lyle might be good. Who knows? But like, I mean, Gabby Hoffman's there. That's great. But like, I just think like that movie just didn't do what I don't know what the hell it was for. But I'm glad for like Hari Neff and Molly Ringwald. Like that's awesome. Good for them.
Yeah.
Getting some money. But yeah, I mean, like with Sorority Row, should you watch it? Yes, do watch it. Go into it knowing that it's going to feel its age from 2009. But I will say, like, if you want a not so serious, fun time, campy time, if you will, then sure, watch it. Right now it is on Max. It has been on Prime before. So HBO Max, it's on there, and I don't know when it's going away, but it will still be on there, so you can still watch it. I think it also makes the rounds on Tubi here and there, because it was on Tubi at one point. So that did happen. But yeah, I think that's that. Do you have any closing remarks or anything like that, Pickens?
I don't think so. I think out of all the remakes that we got in the early to late 2000s, I really think it was I don't think it was not offensive. It's campy. It is fun. There's some good lines in it. So yeah, like you want to throw something on, kind of turn your mind off. It's a good one.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. It's not complete dog shit. So
not complete dog shit. It is not complete dog shit.
It's maybe a little bit, maybe just a little bit,
but
like not too much.
Yeah, it's enough that you can brush it under the rug and be like, oh, don't pay attention to that.
It's not April Fool's Day bad. With that remake.
God. Oh my god. Oh,
it's not.
Oh my god.
Did I just unlock a memory for you?
Yeah, it was filmed in Charlotte, and just I just remember like that April Fool's Day remake, and I was like, oh no, and then poor Scott Taylor Compton.
I know, poor Sally Taylor Compton. Like, but she's doing fine now. She's making those convention monies, and I'm so happy for her.
I am so happy for her.
But that movie, ooh, girl, I haven't even seen it, and I just don't know if I would like it. Because April Fool's Day is already really good. Like, and that movie is so like, but like, why? Like, why?
It just, I barely remember anything in the movie. I just remember it was just bad. It was so bad.
Yeah, and not in a fun way like House of Wax, where you see Paris Hilton get killed.
It's not even like that. House of Wax, I love it.
Oh yeah, no, that movie is actually like kind of decent. Like I literally saw my 13-year-old ass was at the cinema to watch that. Absolutely, completely. However old I was in 2005, I guess. Yeah, 13. Like, yeah, no, totally. I was there. But yeah, so I was on the ground level of it all. But yes, I mean, also Tourist Trap remake. We can get into it another time.
Oh yes, we can.
Oh, completely. Like we will probably talk about that at some point. I kind of want to do House of Wax on the show. I'll think about it. But yeah. But anyway, I want to just thank you so much, Pickens, for coming on the show. I think we're obviously starting to wrap up now because I don't want to take too much of your time. But do you want people to follow your socials or anything like that so they can come see what you're doing?
Yeah, I mainly use Instagram. So like my Instagram is @partypickens. I'm usually, if you type in Pickens, I'm usually like one of the first ones to pop up. Yeah, and I am on TikTok, but I either have to have like 1 or 2 glasses of wine before I make one, and it's so sparse, few far between. But yeah, that's
I love that. That's go check out his content. Fun little gay stuff every now and then. Like, I enjoy it. Like you're a fun person to follow on the socials. So, but thank you so much for coming on the show, and I'd love to have you back. We're gonna have you back for couple other things coming up this year, I definitely think. So yeah, I mean, but thanks so much for coming on the show, and hope you have the good rest of your evening. All right.
Thanks for having me. It was always a pleasure.
Of course. As always, if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can do so via email at cultcinemacircle@gmail.com in case you want to give any movie or episode recommendations, give feedback on the show, or if you'd like to just say, hey, I'm open to all of it. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, you can do so on Instagram and Instagram threads at cultcinemacircle. I tend to post what I'll be covering for the next week on there, post stories, things like that. On X, I'm at cultcinemacircle. On there, I don't really post a whole lot, but if you want to follow the show, it's there for you to follow. And then on Letterboxd, I'm at Jesse, Jesse, Kremp, Kremp, all one word. On there, I log little movie reviews, I'll log what I'm watching, and then it's also a nice way to kind of see what I might be covering on the show in the future. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the Cult Cinema Circle podcast on your podcatcher of choice, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm pretty much on all of them. Be sure to leave 5 stars and a 1 to 2 sentence review about the show so we can grow the audience and then just spread the love all around. Be sure to tune in next week to the Cult Cinema Circle podcast, where I'll be covering 1995's To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. 3 New York drag queens on their way to Hollywood for a beauty pageant get stranded in a small Midwestern town for the entire weekend when their car breaks down. While waiting for parts for their Cadillac convertible, the flamboyant trio show the local homophobic rednecks that appearing different doesn't mean they don't have humanity in common. As always, thank you for taking the time to listen to the Cult Cinema Circle podcast. And remember, Ellie, I love you because you're always there to help with homework. You're like a spell check with a nice rack. Take care. Bye.